Hello friends, welcome to SIVARAJAVEL IAS Academy, and this is our weekly current affairs update with respect to environment and geography. Recently, the 19th meeting of National Tiger Conservation Authority have been conducted, and there are certain important highlights of this meeting. An action plan for the introduction of cheetah in India has been revealed in this meeting, right? 50 cheetahs have been planned to introduced in the span of next 5 years. It was considered as an extinct species in the year of 1952, and 14 tiger reserves out of the total 51 tiger reserves in India have been accredited under an international framework called as conservation assured tiger standards, right? Then a water atlas has been released which maps all the water bodies in the tiger regions of India. So these are all the three important highlights of this particular meeting. We will discuss each and everything in detail. So first we just have an idea about this National Tiger Conservation Authority. Tiger is one of the important species which need to be conserved, especially it is being our national animal, right? So to protect this wildlife species, this National Tiger Conservation Authority has been established in the year of 2005 by giving it as a statutory status under Wildlife Protection Act, right? Then this authority or this body is chaired by the Union Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, right? He is the chairman of this particular authority, and the major function of this authority is to facilitate the plans which are framed under the flagship project called as Project Tiger, which was unveiled in the year of 1973. The major aim is to enhance the population of tiger in India and its associated ecosystem. At the year when this project was implemented, we have only 9 tiger reserves, but at present we have 51 tiger reserves in India, and the tiger bearing states have been increased to 18 states in India, right? So it is a statutory body which works under the Environment Ministry, and it has its power derived from the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, and it is chaired by Union Minister of Environment and Environment, Forest and Climate Change, right? So action plan for the introduction of cheetah. Once upon a time, the India is known for the presence of this important flagship species called as cheetah. But in the year of 1952, the Asiatic cheetah, which is one of the important species of India, was officially declared extinct from India. From that particular point of time, we have not even a single species which is existing in India, right? So to reintroduce these cheetahs into the landscape of India, we have a plan of introducing 50 cheetahs in different national parks in the region of India in the coming 5 years, right? So normally the first national park is Kuno Palpur National Park in the state of Madhya Pradesh have been identified as the first state where initially 8 to 12 cheetahs will be introduced, and these cheetahs have been taken from the South Africa, Namibia and Botswana region of African continent, right? So we have a plan to introduce African cheetah into the Indian landscape, especially the first national parks which has been chosen as for introduction of these cheetahs is Kuno Palpur National Park in the state of Madhya Pradesh, right? So at present these cheetahs are found in 2 regions alone, one in and around the African continent, and the next is in the Iranian region, right? So there are 2 types of cheetahs which is existing in this world, African cheetah and Asiatic cheetah. Previously the cheetahs which were present in India were belong to this species of Asiatic cheetah, right? So it is categorized as critically endangered under the IUCN red list status, and whereas if you take the case of African cheetah, it belongs to the category of vulnerable, right? So if you observe the distribution of cheetah in these two different regions, especially the South African regions. These three countries, Botswana, Namibia and South Africa, are known for high density of cheetah population in these regions, right? So we are planning to translocate 8 to 12 cheetahs from this region to the Indian landscapes regions in the further years, right? So previously the entire region of India, almost entire region of India is known for the population of cheetah. So naturally it may be suitable for cheetahs to exist here, right? On that plan we are trying to introduce these cheetahs into India, right? If it is going to happen in this near future, means it will be the first time in the world that a large carnivore will be translocated from one continent to another continent, right? So this is the major aim of this cheetah introduction in India, right? So we will discuss what are all the other sites which has been identified for introduction of these cheetahs in the near future. So initially this first site, Kuno National Park, has been identified as the first site, but numerous other sites are also have been identified for cheetah introduction. And what are all the conditions which are prevailing over there which would help for this species to exist over there, right? So out of these different regions of India, 10 sites of 10 different sites which belongs to 5 states of India have been identified for this cheetah introduction, which has been surveyed in the period of 2010 to 2012, right? So Chhattisgarh, if you take the case of Chhattisgarh, Guru Ghasidas National Parks is one of the important sites. It has been found here, right? Guru Ghasidas National Parks in the state of Chhattisgarh. Then Gujarat, Bani grassland region of Gujarat region, which is very much closer to the Rann of Kutch region of Gujarat regions, right? Then Madhya Pradesh is one of the important states where Dhubri Wildlife Sanctuary, Sanjay Gandhi National Park, Bagdara Wildlife Sanctuary, Nauradehi Wildlife Sanctuary, and finally the Kuno National Park. So all of these sites have been identified as potential sites for cheetah's introduction. If you observe the presence of this Nauradehi, then Bagdara, then Dhubri, then finally the Kuno Palpur, which is present at the northernmost region of Madhya Pradesh, is the first site where we are planning to introduce this cheetah. And in the state of Rajasthan, the Desert National Parks and the Shahar grassland region, which is found at the extreme western portion of Rajasthan, is also identified as one of the important regions for introduction of these cheetahs, right? And if you take the case of Uttar Pradesh, the Kaimur region, Kaimur Wildlife Sanctuary is also the potential area which has been identified for its introduction. So if you observe all of these landscapes regions, you can easily find that these regions are known for open forest or shrub kinds of vegetation, right? So you cannot find any denser vegetation over these regions. Even if you observe the regions of the South African regions, the high density is found at the savanna grassland region. Savanna, right? Savanna are considered to be the tropical grasslands regions which are ideally suitable for these cheetahs to exist over there, right? So in the same sense, the open forest, more shrubs kind of vegetations or grasslands are more ideally suitable for these cheetahs to exist over there. If you take the case of another flagship species called as tiger, you can observe its presence over the dense forest regions. But if you take the case of lions or cheetahs, it can majorly present over these grassland ecosystem, right? So if you observe the map of India here, you can easily identify this northern central region of India is not known for higher amount of rainfall, because if we relate it to the Indian monsoon, this region is also not known for high denser vegetation. The open grasslands and the open shrublands are ideally suitable for these species to exist over there. And these are all the 10 important sites which has been surveyed as suitable sites for the further introduction of 50 number of cheetahs in India in the next span of 5 years, right? Then we will discuss why Kuno Palpur National Park is specifically identified as the first site for the introduction of these cheetah into India, right? So among these all other sites, if you observe the position of Kuno National Parks, it is found in the northernmost portion of Madhya Pradesh regions, and this region is known for having a dry deciduous open forest landscape, right? Dry deciduous open forest landscapes, and which is almost having larger number of grassland type of ecosystem, so that it can present for a vast regions, and it is one of the important sites which is devoid of any human settlement for a larger regions, right? So by considering certain important conditions for the best place to introduce the cheetahs into this region, this Kuno National Park is considered as an important site, right? Because of its habitat and adequate prey base, right? Even if you observe the range through which this national park has been extended, it has covered almost 750 square kilometer region, right? And it is one of the important portion of this Shivpuri dry deciduous open forest landscape, which itself has been extended for a region of around 7,000 square kilometers, because cheetahs are known for traveling for a larger distances. If you take the span of, if you take a single cheetah, means it can travel up to 100,000 kilometers per year range, right? So it needs a larger landscape, it needs a larger region to cover, so that its habitat would not be affected by any other species, right? So all of these conditions, that is devoid of human settlements, abundant prey means the other living beings through which these cheetahs can feed upon, right? Abundant prey species and open forest conditions, that is grassland like open forest conditions, are all very much suitable for very much suitable and identified as the best location for the introduction of cheetah into India, right? Currently it has the capacity to sustain around 21 cheetahs, right? And once these cheetahs has been introduced and colonize the entire landscape, it has the potential to hold up to 36 individual cheetahs. This national parks alone, if at all the entire ecosystem and other regions are not at all affected for its habitat, for its existence and habitat expansion, right? So these are all certain important conditions through which this site has been identified as the potential site for introduction of cheetah, right? And another important, as I said before, it is a potential region for larger presence of prey bases, right? Chital, it is a kind of spotted deer which is found at an abundant level in this particular national park, right? If you take the case of Chital, it is the most abundant wild prey which has a population of around 38 individuals per square kilometer, right? Which is one of the important prey species of cheetah, right? Apart from that, nilgai, that is blue bull, wild pig, chinkara and cattle are also some other important species which are found extensively in this landscapes, which may pave the way for existence of cheetahs in this particular region, right? Then once upon a time, if we observe this particular national parks, it had the capacity to hold around 4 large cat species of India. Tiger, lion, leopard and cheetahs are coexisting in this particular region itself, but at present it may not have the same conditions to hold all of these species. Leopard is one of an important species which is found in this particular region, right? And if you observe that Asiatic lion, right? Asiatic lion is at present found only in the Gir National Park region of Gujarat. And this Kuno Palpo National Park is also identified as another important location for introduction of Asiatic lion in this particular region itself, right? From the Gujarat government have opposed this move to translocate the famous Asiatic lion into the region of Madhya Pradesh, but Supreme Court have clearly said through its judgment in the year of 2013 that no objections have been found for translocation of Asiatic lion into this Kuno Palpur National Parks. But numerous concerns are also arising out of the introduction of cheetah into these region, right? Because the characteristics of Asiatic cheetah and African cheetah might differ from each other, right? The conditions which are prevailing over the Kuno National Park or the northern Indian regions may not be suitable for the African cheetahs to exist for a long term. It might have a longer term impacts. There are certain concerns which has been raised by numerous environmental activists, right? And if the same region is in the near future may accommodate for the accommodation of introduction of Asiatic lion into these regions, then there might be a competition, there might be a chance of arising of competition between these two apex species, which may capitalize these ecosystems, right? So apart from these concerns, our government have started to introduce these cheetahs into the landscape regions of India, right? So these are certain important points you need to know about the introduction of cheetah in India. Then 14 tiger reserves out of 51 tiger reserves in India have been accredited with this status, that is conservation assured tiger standard status, right? So what is this accreditation and what is this standard? First of all, right, it can be considered as a set of criteria. It can be considered as a set of criteria that allows tiger sites to check if their management will lead to successful tiger conservation, right? There are certain parameters or there are certain management practices which need to be followed for the effective management of a tiger reserve. So it is something like an accreditation, or it is something like a certificate which has been given for successful management of the tiger reserves, right? So it has been created, or it has been launched in the year of 2013, and it has been considered as a minimum standards for the effective management of the target species. And normally this assessment for this accreditation is done by Global Tiger Forum, which is an international level non-government organization, and World Wildlife Fund India. These are the two important organizations, along with our National Tiger Conservation Authority, are accessing the tiger reserves whether they are eligible to get this certification or this accreditation, right? So on the basis of these two important institutions assessment and observations, we 4 tiger reserves of India have been given this framework or given this certification, right? Manas, Kaziranga and Orang tiger reserves in Assam, Satpura, Kanha, Panna tiger reserves in Madhya Pradesh, Pench Tiger Reserve in Maharashtra, Valmiki Tiger Reserve in Bihar, then Dudhwa Tiger Reserve in Uttar Pradesh, Sundarban Tiger Reserve in West Bengal, the only site in this entire world where the tigers are present in the mangrove vegetation, right? Then if we take the case of Panna Tiger Reserve, recently we have discussed about the interlinking of Ken and Betwa river projects, which may affect certain important critical tiger habitats of this particular tiger reserve, right? Then Parambikulam Tiger Reserve in Kerala, Bandipur Tiger Reserve of Karnataka, then Mudumalai and Anaimalai Tiger Reserves of Tamil Nadu. These are all the 14 tiger reserves which has been accredited with this CART certification, right? Then along with these two important highlights of this meeting, especially from the preliminary point of view, you need to know about the important water bodies which are passing through the important tiger conservation sites, right? So water atlas has been released by the NTCA, which which maps the important water bodies which passes through the important tiger reserves of India, right? first map is showing about the regions of Shivalik Hills and Gangetic Plain landscape, right? Here, the Rajaji National Park is known for the passage of Ganga, and Corbett National Park is known for the passage of Ram Ganga. This once upon a time it was asked in the UPSC preliminary examination, right? Then Gagra River passing through the Dudhwa National Parks, and Gantak River passing through the Valmiki tiger reserves of Bihar. All of these are important. Shivalik hills are there. I mean, Shivaliks are the southernmost ranges of Himalayas, which is known for presence of larger number of tiger reserves, and you need to know about these important rivers which are passing through the important rivers which are passing through the tiger reserves of these regions, right? Then the regions of central Indian landscape. The central Indian landscapes is one of the important regions which holds larger number of tiger reserves of India, right? So if you observe here, that is the Panna National Park, Ken River which passes through here. Then Melghat Tiger Reserve, the Tapi River passes through this region. Then Satkoshia Tiger Reserves is known for Mahanadi River to pass over there. Then Kanha Tiger Reserves is known for Narmada to pass over there. Then Chambal River which passes through the Ranthambore National Parks of Rajasthan region. Then this Tungabhadra River passes through the Nagarjuna Sagar Tiger Reserves. It is one of the largest tiger reserves which holds a larger area of critical tiger habitat. So you need to have an idea about the important water bodies which passes through the important tiger reserves as well as national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. Predominantly it has been asked in the preliminary examination, right? Then if you take the case of southern regions, right, in and around Western Ghats, that is Western Ghats landscape is known for larger number of tiger reserves. 2 to 3 times it has been asked about the rivers which are passing through the tiger reserves or other national parks in the region of Nilgiris, in and around Nilgiris region, right? So the Bandipur, Nagarhole region, Bandipur, Nagarhole, Mudumalai, Satyamangalam, it is all known for the Kaveri river basin to pass through. Kaveri and its numerous tributaries are passing over these important national parks. You need to know about that particular region. Then if you take the case of southern regions, right, Pamba river which passes through the Periyar tiger reserves and other important regions. Then finally the northeastern region, right? See the Bay of Brahmaputra which passes through the Kaziranga, Orang, Pakke tiger reserves. One of the important tributaries, that is Tuni river, which is also passing through these tiger reserves. Then that is Bekal, another important tributary of Brahmaputra which passes through the Manas tiger reserves. You need to know about all of these three. Then Namdappa tiger reserves is known for Dihing rivers. Dihing is one of the important tributaries of Brahmaputra, right? So all of these rivers which are passing through the important national parks have been released by NTCA, and you need to know about these important map locations from the preliminary perspective, right? So with this we can wind up this session. Thank you, friends.